South Africa take on Bangladesh in the second test, and it's going to be a big one, guys. We are currently sitting fourth on the World Test Championship charts, and we need to continuously rack up victories to give us a best possible opportunity to be able to make it into that World Test Championship final. Now, we do have some home tests coming our way that we can talk about as well, that we are going to be focusing on a little bit when the season starts. The home season obviously starts. Kind of already started with the domestic season already on its way. Lions being crowned T20 champions already, dominating the Titans in the final. So the summer is coming thick and fast for us, and we are pretty excited over here because there's a hell of a lot for us to cover. I mean, the S under 19 women's team just beat Ireland magnificently today as well, complete domination. So the cricket season has fully kicked off. But our focus over here is going to be Test cricket because we have a second test that is happening tomorrow morning. And as per usual, we'll be getting up bright and early to watch this game. And then I'll be covering it as well for the website, cricketfanaticsmag.com. We will be giving you our report as well as we'll be doing the review show after the day's play. So the big question is going to be, how are we going to approach the second test match? Are we going to keep the same 11 because it's day one? Do we make one or two changes perhaps? I want to know from you guys what you guys think. But we're going to start off by reacting to Coach Shukri's press conference and Aiden Markram's press conference as well ahead of this game. Let's see if we can get any Easter eggs from them onto what the thought process is, on what they will be thinking going forward, and try and get an understanding from their side what the team would probably be heading into the second test. But before we get going, before we get started, there are a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, can you guys please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell for all future videos? For some reason, okay, this whole thing has changed on StreamYard. But anyway, so click the subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos. Also, smash the like button, comment, and share, as well as download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen right now, as well as in the description. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's show. Looking forward to discussing this with you guys. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we're going to be speaking about everything that has to do with the second test between Bangladesh and South Africa. Going to be a very interesting one. We are going to be we're coming off an amazing victory. First and foremost, that's the main thing, is that we bring in momentum into this match. Now, we're bringing in momentum into this match with something a little bit different from what you'd expect from a winning team, is that maybe one or two players really stood out and with the bat, and the others haven't necessarily really come to form quite yet. So that gives me a little bit of hope going into the series, because there are a lot of players now in the batting lineup that have something to prove. That gives me a lot of hope going into this particular match, because normally what happens is, if a player does score in the first test, there is a little bit of a hangover perhaps, and they maybe don't, the chances are that they don't really perform as well in the second test match as they do in the first. And when it comes to this particular game, I think what we first going to probably take a look at over here is, what are the realities behind South Africa's a victory over here. Because South Africa, they won the first match in the subcontinent in over a decade. And New Zealand obviously beat India, um, which is a place that they've also kind of struggled with. And that means that the World Test Championship is now alive for South Africa and as well as New Zealand for the final. But every game for South Africa now is a must-win game for us, and we need to make sure that we try and boost our chances by making this a 2-0 victory. It will. The next game is obviously in Chattogram, um, and then that's after obviously beating Bangladesh in Mirpur, and we should be confident. Of course, we should be confident after that victory. And it will be very interesting to see what happens with the team news, because we're still waiting for Shakib Al Hassan and whether he'll be included in this particular match. There were some concerns over the first test because of the area that they were in. But this time around, we are probably thinking that he will play, because he wasn't able to travel to Dhaka. So it's very interesting to see what's going to be happening with him, because it's supposed to be his farewell, and in a farewell match, anything can happen. He can be up for it. So we're going to have to wait and see what takes place with regards to their team news. With regards to the pitch, etc., and what we're probably going to be seeing over there, that's going to play an obviously a massive role in what we select, because we are going to be picking teams based on obviously conditions, etc. And there was a lot of bounce and turn in Mapur. I think people were quite surprised by what they got, of course, on the first day of the first test. Um, this particular pitch, generally speaking, is supposed to be better for batters. So this will be a great, if that is the case and that's what it presents, and we win the toss, then bat first and put as many runs on the board as possible. This has been called one of the flattest pitches or flattest Bangladesh pitches. There's been over 10 totals of 500 in 24 matches at this venue. So the whole taking 20 wickets, etc., it's going to be difficult. So South Africa is going to really have to think about how they're going to balance the side. Do we play an extra seamer in this match? Do we play an extra attacking bowling option to try and take that 20 wickets? Do they have confidence in Vian Mulder's ability with the bat that he can repeat what he did? It's going to be a big question that they're going to ask. Or do we even play the extra batter as a main batter instead of having the extra seamer? Those are all questions that have to be answered, because with regards to the weather report, this seems like the 5 days are going to be clear with no rain. And apparently there's going to be temperatures like over 30 degrees here continuously. And obviously there's always humidity in these areas. And we need to be prepared for that. So batting first would probably be the best option if the weather's going to be like this. We're going to make sure that we can bat first, put Bangladesh into the field, let them get the worst part of standing out there in the middle and fielding all day. So those are all things that we need to take into consideration for this particular match. From my perspective, I think I would probably just consider perhaps maybe it's a maybe. I'm very skeptical of changing a winning team and a winning formula, but considering that this is a batting wicket, I would be tempted to maybe play someone like Senator Mutasamy or Deva Previs in the second test match, because of they both add spinning options and they both can bat, and they're both also good against spin. On a flat wicket like this, you want to try and get the balance spot on and try and bat as deep as possible, but by not eliminating then your bowling options, because otherwise then you're going to struggle to win the match because you need to take 20 wickets to win the match. So that's going to be the major talking point. The coach is going to have to really strategize and think here. So talking about the coach, let's hear what he had to say after the test match, after the first test victory, and what he thinks going into this particular test match as well. I've got the video here for you guys so that we can watch it together and react to it together. So let's have a listen to what Coach Shukri had to say and what's his thinking. I always like to know what the coach is thinking ahead of this particular match. So far, if they win, brilliant. To control of it. Yeah, so I have to agree there. That's something that I picked up as well. Can you guys not hear? Are you saying that you can't hear the? No, I'm not aware that it's mute. It's not supposed to be. Okay, so let me just check. Can you guys can hear me though, right? It's very strange. Okay, so let me try something else here. Let me try something else here. Um, I wasn't aware that you guys couldn't hear that. Um, so there's something wrong. StreamYard changed the entire system here now, so it's completely different at the moment, and they made it more expensive as well. Um, can you guys hear now?
On that test victory. I mean, like we always talk about the players' accolades and what it means for them to win test matches, to win test series. But we rarely talk about what it means for you as a coach. I mean, you've got a
Okay,
test,
cool,
test
awesome.
series victory
Thank you.
in the Caribbean. You are about to close one in Bangladesh. You know, and the first coach to win a test match in Bangladesh in a decade. You know, well, what does it mean for you as a coach?
Obviously, personally, yes, it's gratifying and satisfying, but they've got it right. It is about the players, you know. I've never seen a TV camera in a change room or supporters sit in a viewing area applaud the coach whenever we win a game. But yeah, it is satisfying. But I'm so happy for the guys and proud of them. And at the end of the day, it should always be about the players and never about the coach or the coaching staff even. You know, I mean, we've got some wonderful coaches on our coaching staff. And it's been a really good combined effort from everybody involved, but ultimately the players, I mean, they can hold their heads held high and, yeah, be very proud of what they've actually achieved here.
Thanks, Ngoma. Johan?
Morning, Shooks. What was most pleasing for you about the match?
Hi, Johan. Yeah, I think the most pleasing for me was just the calmness that we showed throughout. When we bowled them out for 106 and then got ourselves into a little bit of trouble, or we were in a little bit of trouble, but even in the trouble that we were in, just the calmness that the guys showed out, there was nothing frantic about it. There was no panic shots played or anything like this. And when conditions got easier for batting, and Kyle and Vesey first, and then Kyle and Pietie showed us, and again, the calmness that we showed when we started out, and when things were going against us and they were playing particularly well. But most importantly, just the calmness and intent that we showed when we chased down a total that you should be getting 9.5 times out of 10. But I was really pleased just with the manner in which we went about our business. Very calm, clear in terms of what our game plans were as a team and as individuals. So that for me was really the standout, Jan.
And I agreed, like I said earlier on, but you heard me react to something that you couldn't hear. But ultimately, I'm very happy with the way that South Africa approached that chase. They played with aggression and with assertiveness, and they try and chase it down quite quickly. So that was good to see.
Thank you, Lucy. Firstly, congratulations, Coach. Coach, you've had some tough moments not being able to use your senior players and some success as well as coach of the test side. Where would you rank this win with all your games as coach thus far, especially in subcontinent conditions?
Yeah, look, I think it's every win is right up there.
Where would you rank it?
The last win in the West Indies was probably our best win, and before that it was India. So every win is particularly special, but this one is really special. The South African side hasn't won a test match here in 10 years. So for us, we take a lot of comfort in that. But yeah, look, we're certainly not going to be looking to sit on our lead, and we're certainly not going to bask in the glory of that victory too much. We had a good celebration yesterday into last evening, and then we leave tomorrow for Chattergram, and then it will be business as usual. But yeah, every test win is really special. But yeah, I've got to be honest, if I were to rank one, yesterday was right up there, and I'm sure but not so much for me, but for the guys, you know, for the players, and chatting to Polly also after the game and HD, and they were really chuffed for us as well.
Thanks for those.
As it Shooks, I don't know if you're watching what's going on elsewhere in the sub, but India were bowled out for quite cheaply this morning, and Pakistan also struggling a bit there. Do you think that things are sort of changing in that people have learned how to win in the subcontinent again? And if so, you know, what has changed?
I think players, I mean, teams prepare better coming to the subcontinent, and again, there were some raised eyebrows as to us not having a warm-up game here and whatever. I just felt that we could prepare better where we were and almost in extreme conditions. And I think the same with New Zealand and England, you know, teams just prepare better. And maybe the art of batsmanship has not only left certain teams. What we found is that whilst they prepare spinning wickets here, doesn't equal them being the greatest players of spin. And I think we're finding the same in England, in India, and in Pakistan now as well, you know. So whilst they feel it's still their best way of attacking teams from outside of the subcontinent, their host batting has also let themselves down. So I think batsmanship globally has taken a bit of a hit. Not only the playing of seam, but certainly in the subcontinent, the playing of spin as well.
That's true.
Thanks for those. Percival,
But that's also got to do a lot with the levels of cricket, man. I always talk about the gap between domestic cricket and international cricket. That's why I've been quite impressed with the way we've prepared for spin against Bangladesh over here. Yes, we still had our troubles against them, but these players that are playing currently, the improvement against spin has been amazing because they don't get this practice at domestic cricket. We don't have a 10 or 10 great spinners that are bowling consistently well at domestic level. We've got a couple of here and there that produce that consistency that we can maybe gets close to just above a international, just above a domestic level, maybe a SA emerging SAA level. But we don't have any really spinners at domestic level that play 4-day cricket that are of an international standard. So I've been very impressed with the way we've prepared for this. Whatever they've done in that training camp before this test match has really paid off in the intent that they used, the shot selection that they played, the way they approached the spinners, the comfortable calmness that they showed playing against the spinners has been really impressive to me. And I hope they can continue that. And I'm hoping now that the other players that didn't perform in the first test match can now show us too that what they have learned and what they can do against this Bangladesh attack. Because this bowling attack from Bangladesh, there are a couple of great players in that bowling attack that can cause a lot of teams problems.
to wrap with the Afrikaans question, so I'll just cut across to Telford.
Thanks, Lucy. How's it, Trickery? Through no fault of your own, you didn't really get the chance to play Test cricket, but you're in a unique position here as the coach of a Test team. And can you tell us civilians, are you struck by how difficult is it to engineer a victory at this level and in this format and in conditions like these?
I'm going to say this very tongue-in-cheek, Telford. I don't know what the big fuss was 10 years, No, on a serious note. I think it's all about the belief that you can actually come here. There's a belief in your skill set. There's an understanding of how you're going to go about it. And then from a coach and from a coaching staff perspective is to allow them that freedom, They're going to make mistakes along the way, and almost for us to be comfortable with certain mistakes. As long as the mistake doesn't sit in a mental corner. If it's an execution, we're comfortable with that. If it's technical, we can work on that. But we've really driven the mental side of things in terms of a strong mentality, a strong desire, both with bat and with ball. And we've gone to great lengths to free the guys up in terms of whatever the game plan is, whatever you're comfortable doing, every single one of us, players, management, coaching staff, everybody, we're going to back that to the hilt, and we're going to allow you to do what you do. And I think that brings clarity, it brings calmness to a unit, and that for me, like I said earlier, was probably the most gratifying thing, is there's just the calmness. And even in the celebrations, nothing was over the top. It's almost as if we expected to do really well, and I'm not being Windgat in any way here. And it's a young, inexperienced, not a young, but inexperienced unit. But we still need our leaders, and our superstar Rolls-Royce fast bowler. He led from the front there with the ball. He carried this attack, as he has done for quite a while now, and then backed up by some really valuable contributions by others with the ball, and then guys with the bat as well.
Yeah, we need it more
Thanks.
leveled
Next,
out, I
you
think,
go
amongst
to
everybody.
Steve towards the back end as well.
I want to
So,
see more players
Tina.
step up in the second test.
Thanks, Lucy. I should agree. Just with regards to you've obviously won now, and then you've got one more game in Bangladesh, and then Pakistan and Sri Lanka at home at the end of the year. Just do you have an eye on the World Test Championship and making that final? And we've heard you and Aiden also previously speak about belief, as that belief has sort of like transcended into sort of the future and your goals into reaching that step.
Yeah, obviously, you've got lofty goals that you set yourself, and we all want to get into a final, or maybe we should change that. We all want to win the World Test Championship, but we do know that there's some hard graft
Yep.
that's going to have to be done along the way, and that first Test match was the first one that we needed to put in the hard graft, and then tomorrow we go to Chattogram, and we know that's going to be really tough, and we're going to have to play particularly good cricket, and if we get a great result there, then great, and then we move on to Sri Lanka. But yes, the World Test Championship, that's our World Cup, but we do understand that we're certainly not going to be building any sandcastles, and we're certainly not going to have any pie in the sky in terms of, but we've got to allow yourself to dream as well, and then give yourself the chance of realizing that dream. But it's going to take a lot of graft, and we're a long way away from that still. We've got to take care of Chattogram, play really good cricket, and then hopefully get on the right side of the result there.
Forget about the first match. Take the learnings, move on, focus on this one. That's what will be the mentality.
Good morning. I had the same question as Keenan, but if I could just press you on that, I mean, how would you rate your chances then of getting to that WTC final?
Mark, we've got to have a good chance. I don't know if Dose is the expert on this. I think it's 4 out of remaining 5 or whatever it is. And you've got to fancy your chances back home. I might have said it at an earlier presser or something, where we're coming to Bangladesh as underdogs, and we got a really good result. We probably go into the next test match having firmed slightly in the odds. But when we get back home, we start as favourites. You're not expected to beat them, but you actually firm favourites to beat 2 teams from the subcontinent in home conditions. So to answer your question, Mark, I think, our odds have definitely firmed in the betting markets. And we need to start playing like favourites as well. It's probably easier playing as an underdog. But I think we've got a good little thing going here with this unit. But we're certainly not going to get ahead of ourselves in any way.
Yeah.
For those popped a message
Good.
in the chat panel to say
They need to keep their minds.
For those.
Stu,
Thanks, Lucy.
Wait, what was that now? I missed that.
in the chat panel to say it is indeed 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Thanks for
It's
those.
okay. We need to win 4 out of 5 tests, guys. This will give us a massive boost. Massive boost. Because it gives us some
One particular guy, this is
space.
an overall question here. You didn't hesitate when you were asked at the HPC about Vian playing this test match. What have you seen from him that has made you so confident in what he provides to the team? And this is the second question: is Marco has been through what he's going through, but he'll be back in the side, I presume, for the home tests. How does Vian fit in with Marco? Do they play together?
Oh, they could do.
That's the big answer there.
And if I had my way, I'd like to see them play together. Not if I had my way. If everything stacks up, I'd like to see them play together. Because I've also said before that Marco's probably not your ideal number 7, but a really good number 8, if that makes any sort of sense. And Vian adds that real balance to our side, and that all-rounder role is a critical role. And what I've really liked about him, and it started in the West Indies, where his bowling has come on in leaps and bounds. He's bowling a lot quicker with a great measure of control. He can bowl with a new ball. He's nice and aggressive. He catches brilliantly at slip, and he's starting to show signs with the bat that we know that he's capable of. And I think not that security is never going to be a word that you use in cricketing circles, but I think the backing brings the best out of Vian. And he's a vital cog in our side, not only here, but going forward as well. But again, it's always going to be around the conditions we play on, Stewie, whether we're going to play 7 out-and-out batters with Marco at 8, or whether we play Vian as the all-rounder at 7 and still Marco at 8. And I'm not a fan of, I don't think there's such a thing as a bowling all-rounder and a batting all-rounder. You're either an all-rounder or you're not. So and I think Vessi's very close to that genuine all-rounder. He might not reach he probably won't reach the heights of previous all-rounders that we've had, but he's certainly a vital cog in this team.
Okay, so that's a very important statement on the way that he said that, because I've seen headlines today where people have said that Coach Shukri said that he is a genuine all-rounder. Coach Shukri said that he's very close to being a genuine all-rounder. That's a very big difference in the phrase than making a statement saying that he is. So that means by saying that he's very close to being a very good genuine all-rounder means that there's still work to do with Vian. And I agree 100% because this is exactly what I said on my previous show. There's still a hell of a lot that Vian can learn. For me, he's always been a batter first in the past when he was a youngster, under 19, when he was 20 years old, 19, 17 years old. That range, he was a number 3 batter and bowled a bit. He opened the bowling as well sometimes for his teams, and he batted in number 3. So he was a batter first. That's how I always saw him. Otis Gibson came into the mix at the Proteas, and he suddenly started to change into more of a bowler than actually a batter. And I agree with Coach Shukri. Vian is a type of player that if you give him that backing and that support, him knowing that he's being backed and supported helps. I think that's the case for I think any player. If you give them that backing and support and they feel comfortable and confident that they are in the team and they are needed, it changes the mentality a little bit. It shifts your mentality a bit. You're not then playing for survival. You then are playing for the team. You're not just playing for yourself anymore. You're playing for the team now because you have been trusted with a position and a role and you feel more comfortable. You're not playing with it in the back of your mind. Oh, if I don't perform, I'm going to get dropped. That security can really lift a player and take them into a different direction. So I like it. 7 and 8. Marco at 8 and Vian at 7. That can be a very deadly combination going forward. What's going to happen to Gerald Coetzee in that case? Because then do we have Gerald at 9 in South Africa and then KG at 10 and then one spinner? Is that going to be your bowling lineup? That very much could be. That I could see that happening. That's a very deep batting lineup. KG coming in at 9 or 10 even could be brilliant for South Africa. I mean, even if you have Keshav at 10, at 9, KG at 10, and then having, I'm mixing it up. Having Gerald at 9, KG at 10, and then or Keshav at 10, and then KG at 11. That's deep. Because I think I back KG a lot more with the bat than I think some people might. I think he can do a decent job. He might not be getting 50s, etc., but he can hold the bat and play a role. So I think in that department, South Africa really has a lot to offer because we've got some guys knocking on the door, like Michael Pretorius coming through. Perhaps down the line, Bayer Swanepoel, if he can get more consistency with the ball in hand and with the bat, he's knocking on the door too. You've got the likes of Tristan Lewis, who's coming through the system as well. You've got there's a young fast bowler that we just saw now playing for Western Province in the semi-final as well. That's also an all-rounder. So there are a lot of all-rounders coming to the system. Mampungwana, there's so many to talk about. So this is going to be a spot that I feel South Africa's got covered for the next few years if we can just manage it correctly. Let's continue.
Thanks, Stu. We're going to look to take the follow-up questions before we wrap the media up. We'll start with Nathan.
Thank you again, Lucy. Just give me a minute. Just want to look at the question again. Based on Scholesy, Scholesy had to bat it to get back into the test squad. Then scores a century in subcontinent conditions. Not easy. Yeah, jokingly, Bedders even made a joke about him being out there in the heat. Special moment for Scholesy.
Yeah, huge for him.
Scholesy is Calvarino, guys.
He ribs me every now and again, for the holiday I imposed on him over the West Indies series. But I think, and that's what we often need. We want to see. We want to see guys that deal with adversity the way Kyle has, and he certainly has come out here and played one of the best knocks in the subcontinent. He employed a certain way that he wanted to play the spin, and he backed it. But it speaks volumes for his not only his ability to with the bat, but really his mentality, and that's the biggest thing you're going to get with Kyle. I think it helps that his dad, in inverted commas, in Ashwell is in the change room because they've come a long way. And you look at Scholes' prep leading into this test match, you almost could place a few bob on that he was going to do well because, and behind the stumps as well. And I think guys are finding their feet. They're finding that they're in a more settled situation, a settled position now. I think the team, all of us, we've now settled on a group of guys that we feel can take us forward. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be the odd change along the way, but yeah, it was great from Scholesy.
Yeah, I think Ashwell Prince is playing a massive role in his development as well because they have a very good connection and a very good relationship from their time at Western Province already. Ashwell Prince has always worked very well with Kyle, knows how to work with his personality, and also knows how to deal with his personality and get the best out of him.
Thanks, Nathan. Johan?
Shooks, PT was a bit pricey, but do you think they sort of look to hit him or to take him on and sort of hit him or out of his lengths?
Yeah, look, that was always going to, and you almost, we almost planned for that. PT would be the first one to admit that he wasn't only pricey, but he wasn't very good. But doesn't make him a bad bowler, you know. I mean,
that's what I said.
Good batters get low scores, have a run of low scores. Good bowlers have bad spells and bad games. But it doesn't turn PT into a poor bowler. But they certainly, we knew that they were going to target him, especially in a four-man frontline bowling attack where it's probably easier to target the off spinner as a right-hander with the ball spinning into you.
That's what I said also.
But yeah, look, it's one of those days, and he's experienced enough to deal with it and come back stronger. And yeah, at the end of the day, guys have bad games, and at the end of the day, as long as the results a W and not an L, then we're happy.
Cool.
Yeah, but we need to
for those,
think about that going into the second test match, I think. Perhaps. I don't know.
Shooks, I'll probably ask you again closer to the home summer, but you've just spoken about like preparing home conditions that maybe then backfire on your own team, and obviously with subcontinent teams coming, and we know from history we might try and look at like really spicy wickets, but is that the kind of thing you want to see happen in order to beat them, or would you want some kind of more even conditions, because obviously your own batters also need runs?
We just want good conditions. We want good wickets, and we want wickets that are synonymous and what you expect at the ground. So you have a pretty good idea of what Centurion's going to throw up. We just want good wickets. We actually spoke about it the other day, myself, Temba, around if there was a message to go back to South Africa, we want good wickets. Our batters, inexperienced batters, we showed, again, we can get hundreds. When conditions are good for batting, we can get hundreds. So for those, there'll be no special message going back home about spicy wickets, etc., etc. We want good wickets because we believe that with our bowling attack, they're good enough to bowl on any surface. And you're right when you say we need runs as well, because you can have the world's best bowling attack if you've got no runs to bowl to. They also almost rendered obsolete, you know. So yeah, we want good wickets. I speak too much.
Yeah.
Stu has popped a
Okay,
question
good.
in the chat panel just asking if there is an update on Temba.
Yes, there is an update today. In fact, yesterday was always going to be the day where we were going to make the decision based on his medical condition. So there was a plan, there was a program that he was following. And no, we didn't wait for the result. We just feel medically he's not going to be ready for the second test. And we'll tone down the program so that he can be ready for the Sri Lankan series. So Temba's out for the second test, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Temba's out, guys. So we're probably going to see Matthew Bledesky again.
We'll look to go.
Is he staying there?
I don't know how that's important, Fidas. I actually don't know yet. I haven't asked him.
No, like, is he coming home or is he?
I don't know.
playing?
I really don't know. I'll check with him, but that's yeah, I don't know. That's Temba's prerogative together with the manager. I'd like him to stay, and I've communicated that with him. But I also know that he's got a young family. But yeah, I'd like him to stay. He still plays a valuable role. It's still his team. And we'll see how it unfolds. But yeah, something we haven't even spoken about too much.
Thanks for those. And then we'll look to conclude with Percival with the Afrikaans question.
Okay, that's Afrikaans question. I'm not going to still play the Afrikaans question, guys. Sorry to my Afrikaans viewers. Okay, so that's what Coach Shukri had to say. Yeah, exactly like Pratik says, he absolutely loves the clarity in which Shukri brings when he speaks. Was missing earlier. The team has a great talent now and a bit settled, so potentially we can expect big things from this team. I'm expecting big things from this team, but we need to also be patient. We need good wickets in South Africa so that our batters can properly have a chance. I don't want to see what happened against India. Oh my lord, those wickets were not that great. For example, so I want to see good batting wickets, etc. When we are playing these teams. Okay, so let's move on to what Markram had to say. And please, guys, let me know if you can hear this. When I start playing it, of course. Let's do this. Okay, here we go.
What is the surface looking like, and how are you guys expecting to play it?
Can you guys hear that?
I actually haven't seen the pitch yet, so we'll have a look at it now. Hopefully, they open it up and then can try work out what we can expect. Just based on the nets, slightly truer bounce, slightly quicker off the wicket at least felt for us. So, yeah, we'll have a look at the wicket now and come to some conclusions about the team and things like that. But yeah, I'm assuming it will be slightly different to Dhaka, and maybe most venues are different from each other, and hopefully we can get a pass on that quite early.
At the end of the first test,
yeah, so they're not really sure yet about the conditions.
You spoke about addressing how the top six did not score big runs. What needs to change in this test to try and get those big runs as a top six?
Ultimately, just score the runs, but I suppose it's each batter in their own individual, unique way, backing their strengths and finding a way to put the Bangladesh bowlers under some pressure, which will make for run scoring a little bit easier and a little bit more free flowing. We'll have to assess how the wicket plays as well as respect to sort of each of our options that we try to take on. And ultimately, all you can do as a player is back your strengths, back those options, and you hope it's your day. So the discussions that we've had as a batting unit, the top six are really hungry to contribute. So yeah, starting tomorrow, hopefully we can put our best foot forward.
And then lastly, before I open up to the floor, given the results in the India versus New Zealand series, you now have a very good chance of making the WTC final. Does that add to the pressure of trying to win in this test?
I mean, I don't think it really adds pressure for us. It's just an exciting opportunity that could be. So that's almost how we're trying to view it. You probably still need to win a lot of your remaining games of cricket, and we've got 5 left until that. Until we'll know what our fate is, and 5 test matches is a lot of cricket. There's a lot of cricket to be played. So that's pretty much where we're at now. You know, if we can go session by session, game per game, we hopefully give ourselves a good chance. But yeah, I'm excited about what possibly could be moving forward, and yeah, it certainly gets the boys first up about the idea.
Great. We'll open up to the floor, starting in the back.
Your side must be very much relieved after winning the first test, because it was your first test win in the subcontinent after 10 years.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely relieving. Obviously, a happy moment for us as a change room. So, as people say, good sides find ways to win consecutively, and that's been our drive coming into this test match. So, hopefully, we can put in another good performance. We obviously always appreciate the opposition we're against, and especially Bangladesh now in their own conditions. So we've got no doubt it's going to be a tough game for sure. But yeah, hopefully we can back it up and keep that sort of good energy and good vibes in the change.
Yeah, they need to just focus on this game now and put the last one behind them. That's ultimately what they need to do. It's difficult to do, but it's something that they should be working on as a unit, and the coaching staff and everybody should be making sure that they can implement that.
The condition is very hot and humid, so how you are preparing for that match, coping up with this situation? And the other thing is, after winning the first test, so what is your plan for this game?
From a weather point of view, there's not too much we can do besides sort of hydrate well and make sure we keep our bodies in the healthiest way, in a good way. So it's each guy again on how they're feeling, how their body's feeling. Just make sure we pay a lot of attention towards that. In terms of this game, it's a brand new game. Everyone's starting on zero, so
Brilliant.
hopefully we can start well again. Put a lot of emphasis on that, and we feel like when we do that, not just here but anywhere around the world, it's great to be able to start on the front foot. So hopefully a good start regardless of what we do toss-wise, and sort of just run with that momentum throughout the 5 days.
Yeah, the toss is going to be important, I think, in this match, though. From what we've heard about the conditions, that it is one of the best batting surfaces in Bangladesh. I read out the stat a little bit earlier. There are quite a few 500 plus scores scored on this ground. So I think batting first would be the right decision. But yeah, we're going to have to make sure that we analyze the conditions regardless. Even if the wicket does look like it's a good batting surface at the toss, because the first match as well, the surface looked good as well, but then it did the opposite of what Bangladesh thought it would. So we need to also then keep our heads and just take it ball by ball, try and take the first over just to get yourself settled in and actually see how the ball is moving around, and make sure that our defenses and our leaves are on point. And then we can then go and put that authority on it, on the game, and really take it to Bangladesh. You need to make them run in that field, tire them out. This is a test match, guys. So it's more than just playing runs versus wickets. It's also playing the mental game and the body game. Who's the fittest? You need to actually take all of those things into account and actually strategize and play with a strategy. If it's hot conditions and humid, make Bangladesh run in the field, make it difficult for them, let them spend long hours in the middle bowling overs after overs after overs, and really drain them. So by the time they come out to bat, there might be a little bit of a loss of concentration over there that you can obviously exploit.
I don't know if you are aware about Bangladesh team center, but one information I would like to know that before the Nepal test, the team was kind of unsettled due to Salim Hassan's saga. It was supposed to be his last test match, but he could not play there. And before this test, there is reports coming out that Rajbhasan Shanto is going to be captain in his last test. It may be his last test match as captain. So when a team is going through this kind of situation and they are kind of unsettled, how that helps opponent team as your opponent captain?
Just wait 1 second. Who's managing the venue?
Yeah, so there was a power cut.
Oh.
By the way. That's why I don't have the video for you guys, because the last 3 questions were cut off. There's no point in uploading it in. So I'm playing you the audio file.
Do we know if this is going to come back on? How long?
Let me just try and fast forward this part. I don't know.
Well, what we'll do is we'll just get the audio for the last question, but cameras, I mean, you'll just have to obviously now make do, and then that'll be the last question.
No, I got it, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, not even the microphones are working. It's not much that we pay attention to be honest. It's completely outside of our camp, outside of our team, and we've always been a team that makes sure that our environment is strong and healthy and is ready to perform come game time. As we know, performances are not guaranteed, but at least the environment is a good place to be. So whatever the Bangladesh team is going through is unfortunately got nothing to do with us. And yeah, we'll just try look to play a good game of cricket and see where it gets us at the end of the 5 days.
We'll take So sorry, just 1 second. Can we just ask that when Aiden is speaking, if you just keep it quiet in the room because the mics aren't working, so it makes it already difficult to hear. So we'll take one follow up and then one last question.
Does that give you some kind of advantage, like they are unsettled, the environment is unsettled, kind of unsettled due to this all around in the whole test? Is this kind of any kind of advantage this situation gives you?
I've actually got no idea, to be honest. I'm not sure how the environment is and what's going on there. So it's hard for me to comment on something like that if it does give an advantage or not. But again, a lot of our focus is on us as a team and trying to play a good game of cricket.
Okay, last question.
Regarding captaincy, how much are you enjoying your own role as a standing captain?
Yeah, it's been brief, it's been short, but it's been really cool. Obviously, always an honour and a privilege to captain your country, especially in a test match. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, conditions have been quite foreign to us as South Africans, and it's been nice to try to find ways to impact the game from a captaincy point of view. But ultimately, it's your players that make the biggest difference. And we had guys that put their hands up in the first test match that were able to get us into a really good position to win. And that focus will pretty much be the same for this test match. So it's been really cool. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. And yeah, hopefully we can finish the series well as well.
Yeah, the audio was actually better when the power went off for us. So that's awesome. Anyway, guys, so yeah, that's what Aiden Markram had to say. Nothing really that I need to pause there. It's pretty straightforward. You know that what you're going to get from Aiden Markram when it comes to this. Let me see what you guys have to say in the comments. I'll read some comments out before I leave. No changes for me, says Lawrence. I know people don't want to see Pitt, but I think it would be harsh to drop him after one bad game. Is also almost always go for the winning combination in general. And it's not one bad game. It's one bad innings with the ball. It was just the second time that he bowled that he didn't do that well. I think in the first time he did. And like Coach Shukri said, and like I said as well, they were obviously going to target him and play more aggressively against him and not give him that respect because of the off spin. And obviously going to the right-handers, it's going to be a lot easier to hit the ball than playing against Maharaj and other bowlers. Alja says maybe Mutasami in. He also says, I think Brzezinski should bat at fourth, the lowest. At the moment, I don't think they will do that with guys that are in the side before that. Perhaps they could switch Bedingham and Brzezinski around, and play Bedingham at 5 and Brzezinski at 4. Yeah, but definitely play the same 11 or give Brevis a run, says Ayanda. Avin says, bro, Khalid, India's loss has presented a great opportunity for SA to make the WTC finals. Yes, it has. Ayanda says, hopefully we win the toss and bat first. I'd really like us to win by an innings to boost our chances of playing WTC final. Ayanda also says, I just hope Markram gets big runs this match. The only hiccup for the Proteas might be Sri Lanka. Other than that, they're winning every match unless of bad weather. Clock says, won't be surprised to see an extra seamer in Ngidi. Perhaps that could also happen. Dex says Mutasami or Dewat for Pitt. Sarath says, for me, it's Brevis, Mutasami in for Brzezinski. Then there's the muting stuff. Alja gives his team. I hope they pick this team: Markram, De Zorzi, Stubbs, Brzezinski, or Bedingham. 5, Bedingham, Brevis. 6, Farina. 7, Mulder. 8, Mutasami. Maharaj at 9, Rabada at 10, and Ngidi at 11. Markram can also bowl. Bernard says T20 is to blame for the poor batting in Test cricket. In the early 2000s, batsmen could play innings of 200 balls with ease, but nowadays it's rare to see. Yeah, and also I feel that the level of domestic cricket is the problem as well, because I think most batters will, given the opportunity to bat as long as possible, will take that with open arms and not having the pressure to score runs quickly. But when you are facing a test match and you're getting bowlers that can put it on a dangerous position consistently, every single delivery for 15, 16, 17, 20 deliveries in a row, or 20, 18 out of 20 deliveries. They can put it on a difficult line and length in that corridor of uncertainty as well. Makes the things very difficult for any batter. Clark says, I really like temperament of Tristan Stubbs at the crease. Big boy, positive body language, always looking to score. He's growing nicely, and for sure that average will go up soon. Shikar says, if SA don't get to the finals of the WTC, then I don't know if they ever can. This has to be one of the easiest cycles of the WTC for SA. The next cycle would be tough. It is a easier cycle than we probably would get. But I wouldn't want that mentality in the creeping in the team. They must always believe that they can win, no matter what, how hard the cycle is or not. Clark says 4-5 at least. Then 4-5 at least. Then the Durban test against Sri Lanka. What is me record is not good there, and it turns a lot more than any other ground in South Africa and Sri Lanka in a decent side. They found Kamindu Mendes. Yeah, but this will give us a lot of confidence to play against the spinners. I think this test match in Bangladesh. Alja, next cycle is our touring India, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, and hosting Australia and England. It's tougher. I think this cycle is great chance. It is a great chance, and we need to take full advantage of it 100%. I didn't know he had back and hip problems and told he might not bowl again. I was wondering he lost his pace because I remember him bowling quicker in his early days. Who are you talking about? What did I miss here? We love a lot of pace bowlers. We have a lot of pace bowlers, says LJ. Shikar says Khalid. Sorry, Khalid, but Keshav is not a bit better than KG. Keshav's ability with the bat has dropped quite a bit, and I'm hoping that he can pick it up again. I've read out Pratik's one. Shikar says he's 11. He's Markram, Tony, Stubbs, Bedingham, Rickleton, Verena, Mulder, Mutasami, Pete, KG, and Maharaj. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Same team. Oh, Mutasami. Oh, you're dropping Britsky. Shikar says, but don't you think putting good batting wickets would also... I want a balanced wicket. Good for... They must be like the wickets we normally produce in South Africa. Like, it's good for batting, good for bowling. I don't want... Because if we produce a balanced wicket, I think we'll beat Sri Lanka and Pakistan. But if we produce wickets that are going to favor swing and favor that stuff, it's going to be very tough for our batters. So I think we need to give a neutral wicket. And that's when our bowlers, I think, will be able to be brilliant on there. And our batters will be able to also bat well on there. No space for errors, Shikar. And in my time says, I saw about new young all-rounder today, Matthew Boast, and I see his few stats. How is he in your view? He has a long way to go, Matthew Boast. He needs to play more cricket. He needs to play more first-class cricket, and he has a long way to develop still for me, in my opinion. He hasn't been given as much game time as he probably would have liked. So he needs to find a place where he can get more regular game time in first division cricket, and then we can see and monitoring from then. So yeah, we have to wait and see and monitor his career in general. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the previous show. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, and share. And please subscribe and click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Don't forget to also comment in the comment section after I've ended the stream. Go to the YouTube section, the comment section, and go comment there too. It really helps the video spread far and wide. So it really, really helps if you guys do so for me, please. But thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you again tomorrow after the day's play. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy the test match tomorrow, guys. Peace out.